Hi, and welcome to A Better Place. On today's program, we will be having our second part program as we discuss the Art Saves Lives Foundation with none other than Miss Nicole DeWeaver. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
It's a wireless system. Cable WTN. Go digital WTN. With local TV channel 10. Call and make a date. 542-5898. Down by overseas building, Ruby and Star waiting. 48 channel, fasting with plenty more coming. News and sports from all over. Novella, Creole and Patois. Local thing is priority soon. Papi Menton, Taki Taki. WTN channel TV 10. We'll always be your friend. Check out the scene, we have the best rate. 542-5898. Hey man! WTN K1.
Hi, and welcome back to A Better Place. As I mentioned in the intro, we will be discussing the Art Saves Lives Foundation project with none other than Miss Nicole DeWeaver. Nicole, welcome back to A Better Place.
Thank you.
So Nicole, before we go into the whole structure and setup of the Art Saves Lives Foundation, what prompted you to want to, give back and start with such a project?
Well, as I said before, I always was engaged in community work.
Right.
Every time I come back home, I would do a lot of volunteering with either different organizations like Ojima, or I will go to my local school here, Motions, or Dance Theater of St. Martin. I'll go on the front side, and I'll teach a class, give some type of workshop. And I was saying, well, you know what? My goal is not only to access those kids that are inspiring to be creative artists of any sort, but also to make sure that the people that don't necessarily have access to it have a chance to have access to it. So with my organization, what I wanted to simultaneously have is something that was functioning where you would cater to kids that have very little access, as well as students that would desire a career.
Okay, so anyone in particular, persons that, kind of motivated you to also want to do that?
I feel like I have a lot of family members that are strong into the community and want to give back to the community. So I always had great role models, such as my aunt Elaine Gums. She's been very active in helping community in so many ways, whether it's her job or even on a personal level. But I always grew up in a household where my mother, my grandmother, for instance, that was a very big source of inspiration to me, of being about community and giving back to community and knowing the importance of that. So I feel like this was my initiative to be a part of that, extension of that, to say.
Okay. Now, I know that this is not really having much to do with the Art Saves Lives project, but we wanted to touch on it in our previous program, and we didn't. You have done work with Beyonce and Alicia Keys. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll go back to the Art Saves Lives.
Well, Beyonce and I met actually during the Fela Broadway production. Actually, before the Broadway production, we met before Fela went to Broadway. And met her, of course. She came to see the show. She was really impressed with my performance and with the show. And I got a call to work as an assistant with a choreographer that was hired to choreograph her video, Girls Run the World. And from that point onward, meeting her and then meeting Frank Gatson and developing a nice rapport and relationship with them. They also called me back recently after that to work with the Billboard Awards as well as the Oprah special in her rehearsal process. And then recently I was contacted again to work with her for her music video, and not music video, but her screen projection for Grown Woman. And the feel of the song, of course, is Afrobeat, Afrocentric. So she hired me to do some dance parts of Grown Woman. I also assisted on the choreography with that, with Jeffrey Page, the same choreographer that was hired for Girls Run the World. So that was an amazing experience. And then before even working with Beyonce on this second project, I was hired by Alicia Keys to do screen projection as well for her tour, Set the World on Fire. So this year was a really great year for me in terms of commercial work and being visible on that, in that arena.
Okay, great. So now let's get back to the Art Saves Lives project. So what, we know what motivated you, How did it come about?
When I came here for Christmas break, I actually spoke very strongly about my need and desire to do something significant and have some sort of impact. What I did was I had numerous cupcake sales, and my desire was to bring high caliber artists here to the island to let people be exposed. If they can't go to Broadway, let Broadway come to them. So I had two amazing artists from the Broadway musical Motown come to St. Martin to perform at the Holland House for New Year's Eve, which was a part of my inaugural launch of my organization. And what was great about that is that to have the funds to do so and to be able to entertain the guests, what I did is I had cupcake sales, as well as I had extensive sales that would be able to help me to make the organization actually notarize and make sure that it was official. And so I did it really grassroots. I had cupcake sales, I had 6 of them. I had kids coming to my table. They would question me about what my plans were for Art Saves Lives. At that time, it was Art Saves Lives Project. It wasn't officially a foundation at that moment. And my purpose for doing so was so I can get feedback from the kids on what their needs were. So it was the greatest way to actually bring awareness to what I was trying to do, as well as get the needs and understand what the kids seek in terms of what they want to do creatively. So that was initially my launch, having the artists come here. They performed at Holland House, but they also did community service. So the same concept of simultaneously performances are going on, but also that they have access, kids have access that may not necessarily have a chance to do stuff, be able to have access to seeing a performance by a certain caliber of talent, and be able to have a Q&A and question and answer with these people. So that's what we did. They came to the Charlotte Brookston School. They had a performance. They spoke to the kids. They asked questions, and the kids answered the questions, and it was a great rapport. And then they also went to the White and Yellow Cross to perform for the elderly. So it was great. It was a success. And that actually got the ball rolling with the organization.
Okay, good. So when was the official launch of your foundation?
The official launch of the foundation actually took place for the summer intensive that I just held at the Pleasance Country Club. And it was the most meaningful project that I've ever tackled. And it was also the hardest thing I've ever done. It was a 1-week program. I had 17 artists teaching. I had 16 artists that flew in from abroad to teach in different genres of art, ranging from vocal performance, dance, Pilates, yoga, jewelry and entrepreneurship, as well as djembe drumming. It was an art of alignment too, teaching kids how to be innovative, creative leaders. It was a great eclectic program. The kids, I had 60 was supposed to be my cutoff. I ended up having 98 students. It was a great success. And to see the result of the success as well was actually at the presentation, to see how these kids and even the adults involved deliver such a beautiful performance the night of the 29th at Bel Air Community Center. It was an incredible experience for me to see it all manifest to be real, and also to see the effects already within that week, how their lives were changed and how they were impacted by the program.
Well, Nicole, thanks so much for all of that extensive information. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about how you went about choosing the kids for the program, and also a bit about your members, who are your board for the Art Saves Lives Foundation.
Okay.
Stay tuned, we will be right back.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Hi, and welcome back to A Better Place. So Nicole, let's discuss now your foundation. Who are the persons helping you on the foundation?
Well, I have a dream team. I call it my dream team. I have Catherine Connor. She's my treasurer, also my vice president. And then I have Arita from, I can't say Franklin. Her name is not Aretha Franklin. Her name is Ree Sutton. And they're very powerful women that share the same vision and goals that I do for the country and for making positive change. I also had an incredible help by an intern by the name of Alison DeHer. I also had tremendous help from the Be the Change Foundation. So I'm really excited about the people I have working with me. It's a small board, it's a small group of us, but I feel like it's not about the size, it's about everyone having the same drive and desire.
Okay, and now the kids that were chosen for your summer intensive program, how did you go about choosing those youngsters?
Well, you know, initially I wanted to have like a screening done so the kids can be selective, especially because I only had like 60 slots to fill. But what ended up happening is that I posted the pre-registration information at all the dance studios, at the cultural centers, even somewhere places on the front side. And I just wanted to see what the number of interest would be. And it literally surpassed my expectation. We had way beyond 60 students really wanting to be involved. And I also think it's because, you know, we had a target age of 13, and then we did not have a cutoff age. So anyone that is a teaching artist on the island, we allow them to also take part, because we believe that the teaching artists here should be able to have access to the program so that whatever tools that they can receive at the program, they can actually implement into their daily schedule with the kids. So it was a large, amount of people that desired to be in the program. So I had to make a cutoff point. But what ended up happening is that at orientation, I had parents come with their kids. And for me, it's very hard to say no. And so with seeing them there on premises at orientation, I just didn't have the heart to turn anyone down and turn anyone back. So I ended up taking on 38 people more than I was supposed to. But I don't regret it, and I feel like it was well thought of. In the moment, I had to kind of adjust and make the change in mindset of how many people I could cater to, but it was 98 people at the end of the day.
Wow. And how did it all work out for you? Because, of course, you had your help, you had volunteers, persons who were helping you there. How was the day set up, more or less, in these summer intensive classes?
Well, as I said before, it was a week-long intensive.
Right.
It started from 8 in the morning until 7:30 at night. But we also catered to the kids in having breakfast, lunch, and a little dinner. And so we would suggest for all the kids to come at least 7:30 so that they can have a half an hour to have a little meal before going into class. But I mean, it was all throughout the day, of course, with breaks in between. But it was, I mean, it was very intensive. So can you figure, it's nearly like 12 hours being there from 7:30 to 7:30. So it was very grueling. But I mean, after the first day and the second day, I felt like they got the pace of it and they knew how to kind of conserve their energy. And, you know, it was a success. It was a success to see how they managed to use the schedule and was able to manage the schedule.
And you talked about bringing in these 16 artists. Now tell us a little bit about these artists and how did you find them?
Well, you know what? The art industry in that circle in my cipher is very small. Most of them I had contact with before and prior, like Alicia Graff, for instance. We both actually got hired by Alicia Keys recently to be a part of her screen projection for her tour, Set the World on Fire. So I knew her actually years before that, but I spoke to her on set and I said, you know, I'm starting this foundation. I would love to have you there because she's a huge celebrity. And my goal was to have celebrity caliber artists coming so that the kids that are in the room could see someone, interact with someone that they can see that they're not far-fetched from being that person. They could have conversations with them. They can pick their brain about things that they desire and want to do. And so I had people like Alicia Graff, Anthony Burrell, who I also worked with Beyonce. He toured extensively with Rihanna, Beyonce, Katy Perry, Kelly Rowland, choreographed for so many TV shows. I mean, so I had all these high-caliber artists, and I had already crossed paths with them in the industry, working with them. Or even someone, for instance, the only person that was recommended to me that I didn't work with before was Queen God Is, the spoken word artist.
Okay.
And I was contacting her because she was referred to me by another individual that has a program in Jamaica. And they spoke so highly about her that I went on YouTube to find her. And I was so blown away by her work. And I said, I have to have this woman. So I contacted her through a friend that also used her for the program that she has in Jamaica. And we clicked right away, and she came to be one of the artists. So I had 16 artists, and I had one local artist, Alison DeHer, that was teaching Pilates. I also had Hanifa Jackson, who is a renowned dancer with Cirque du Soleil. I had Lilius White, who taught vocal performance and voice, and she's a renowned Broadway star, and she taught the kids voice. I had Anne-Marie Duchin, who taught Art of Alignment, which is a concept of mind and body integration, which is very important. And I had Zibby Williams, who taught jewelry making and the entrepreneurship class, which was geared towards design, which was awesome because the Chamber of Commerce also adopted that program. And I mean, the classes were so eclectic, and the people that I brought down, they're renowned in the genre of art that they taught. So I was blessed to know these individuals, and some of them I got referred.
Okay. Yeah, because the lady that did the spoken word,
Yes.
she seems to be an amazing singer as well.
Yeah, she's a recording artist as well.
She's also a recording artist. So
Yes.
they really, you know, the art forms just kind of like come into each other and,
Yeah.
you know, make them even more, how do you say, well-rounded artists.
Yeah, and you know, that's what I'm really trying to promote as well, is the awareness of not holding yourself captive to just being one thing. And that's what I have done over the years with my career, is knowing the importance of being versatile and being pliable. I think in any career anyways, I always push people to understand the concept of continuously growing and evolving, because then you are an asset and of some value to choreographers or directors, because you can do so many things. So it's only to your benefit to be versatile.
Yes, okay. Well, Nicole, we've come to a second break again. When we come back, we'll talk about your future plans for the Art Saves Lives Foundation.
Thank you.
Stay tuned, we will be right back.
Are you really gonna eat all of that?
All of that chicken? All of that lettuce, cheese, and bacon?
Introducing KFC's new Mr. Twister. It's all that and more, featuring our famous crispy strips, bacon, lettuce, tomato, a cheese blend, and our signature Colonel sauce, all wrapped up in a giant tortilla and toasted to perfection.
You gonna eat all that chicken?
So good.
When I say Xerox, I know what you're thinking. Transit fares, as in the 37 billion transit fares we help collect each year. No. Oh, right. You're thinking of the 1.6 million daily customer care interactions Xerox handles, or the 900 million health insurance claims we process. So it's no surprise to you that companies depend on today's Xerox for services that simplify how work gets done, which is pretty much what we've always stood for. With Xerox, you're ready for real business.
Hi, and welcome back to A Better Place. So, Nicole, this is our final segment already in the program. So now I want to talk about the plans you have for the Art Saves Lives Foundation.
Well, you know, my program is heavily based on targeting kids that are aspiring to have careers in arts, as well as young individuals that don't have access to creative things or arts in general. So I'm really trying to push a pilot program through the public school system, more likely like an arts and education program that work simultaneously with workshops that I will bring to the island. So my projection is that I will have an annual summer event, which will be more extensive. It will hopefully be 3 weeks long.
Right.
And also do the pilot program during the year. So I really want to have a conversation with the Minister of Culture, Education and Sports about shooting a pilot program in the public school system, as well as tapping into community programs that exist on the island, so that artists that come down for my engagements can also volunteer and do outreach with those organizations.
Okay, so you brought in 16 artists for your first summer intensive. Is it your plan to continuously bring artists from abroad to teach at your summer programs?
Yes, because part of my mission is encouraging cross-cultural exchange. With that saying, I mean, I'll bring artists from abroad that would teach something may be different or maybe similar, but have a different take with their teaching. to the island to teach here for the kids and for the programs, as well as allow individuals to leave the island so that they can see outside of their direct environment a possibility. So what we're doing is actually, through our program, we're selecting 8 students to go abroad on a fully paid experience to New York City. And this will be happening every year. And hopefully we know that the numbers in terms of the kind of support that we will get monetarily from whether it's corporations that exist on the island or businesses, local businesses, you know, and funding with agencies, whether it's Holland or on a local level. We're trying to obtain as much funds as possible so that that number can grow, where kids that may not even be able to leave the island can have access to the opportunity with our program to go abroad.
You know, this was a question that was posed to me by a parent, you know, because in your summer intensive, you know, there were a lot of kids who actually are enrolled in the dance schools as well, and then there were some who weren't.
Yes.
But seeing that your program is really geared towards reaching the kids who do not have that opportunity, how do you plan to tackle that for next year in terms of getting the kids who may not be in the dance schools already enrolled, really enrolled in your summer intensive program?
Well, we had a heavy base program with kids that didn't have access. It was happening simultaneously with the program. All of the teaching artists, every artist, 17 artists, was positioned in schools, from Prince William Alexander School to the Charlotte Brookson School to No Kidding with My Kids to Belvedere Community Center to organizations such as, there's another organization we went to. We also went to ICANN Foundation. We did other foster care homes, such as Crystal Foster Care. We also did Yumi's Drumming Kids. We went to the Cultural Center. So that was happening simultaneously with the program. So what we're going to do is actually scout some of the individuals that do desire creative, artistic careers. What we do with that program is then scout those kids that we have established this relationship with and have them infused and keep on putting them in, integrating them into the program in the summer. But it was happening simultaneously. It wasn't happening from 7:30 to 8:30 during the day in the program.
Right.
But what was happening, it was happening simultaneously as the program is happening. We had programs happening in the public schools, in Mac School as well. We were in the Methodist Arts Center. We had a class taught there in vocal performance. So this was happening simultaneously. It wasn't only the program that was existing at Port Pleasant's Country Club, but we also had programs happening within the school system as well as the programs happening.
And your price for the program was like everyone talked about it, like
Yeah.
they say, a steal of a deal.
Yes.
Is it your plan to continuously keep it at that low fare, or what are your plans with that?
Well, you know, people will call me crazy because I was trying to keep it as cost effective as possible because they felt like it was kind of like financial suicide. But I feel like St. Martin is such a developed country with so many successful businesses and companies that reside here that's making tons of money that may not even be hitting the ground, that I feel like companies that exist like that should be interested in, you know, social corporate responsibility. Not only the image of giving, but also giving because they want to give and they want to help the cause and help the island and help the youth. So with that being said, I feel like it is possible to keep it cost effective and low, and for people being wowed by it. It's incredible to me because you have programs like this abroad or in different countries surrounding us that are even cheap as well and that are free.
Yes, free of charge.
So what we were charging is just a registration fee of $40. That covered a t-shirt for the individual, also breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And the entire
they had
week.
snacks all day.
Right.
You know, I had, like, for instance, Shirley at Divico, she was an angel to me. These kids had access to yogurts, granola bars, water. I mean, there's so many companies that I would like to thank, and of course this is in the appropriate place and time. But, I mean, I had angels that came, as well as I had my own challenges with companies that pledge and didn't give. And so I learned so much in this experience about how it works here on the island.
Right. But the good thing is, Nicole, is that you are definitely blessed, and you did get support from a lot of those who really, really care about St. Martin, want to see St. Martin, you know, progressing. Because I always say that, you know, if you don't invest in the young ones, in our future, then then you need to not really have a say and talk about things that are going bad because you're not making an effort to make it better.
Exactly.
So having said that, I'm going to give you a little bit of seconds to look into that camera
Yes.
and give your final words.
I just want to say to St. Martin, we have extremely talented young people here on the island. And we have extremely amazing young people, whether they want to be creative or not. We have a sad situation where our young people are screaming for attention. We see it in whether it's school dropouts, whether it's teen pregnancy, whether it is the crime that is rising. We see that there's things that we need to address. And I feel like using art as a tool, we can help these kids to channel their restless energy and just their desires, and we can encourage them. Also, our parents also have to understand that there's an important tool here that exists. We have to allow our kids to dream. We cannot stifle our kids with our fears. So allow your children to dream. Give them the support that they need, even if it's not monetarily. Give them the support that they need. Show up at the studios and watch them in their classes. Show up at the fields, the ball fields, and support them in their games. So continue to support the youth. Thank you.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for having been a part of A Better Place. I wish you much success and blessings in everything that you do.
Thank you.
God is on your side, and I know I can't say enough that you're a blessed child, and
Thank
everything
you.
will continue to work out for you. So blessings, and I love you.
Love you too. Thank you for giving me this platform to be heard.
No problem.
Angelique.
And to you, the viewing audience, I would like to thank you for having been a part of A Better Place. Stay tuned for more informative programs. I am your host, Angelique Rumu.